Hi, Alex. How do you think schools should bring in AI and how should kids use AI? Woo, that's a big question. So, how should schools use AI? I have a number of teacher friends in primary and secondary school. A lot of their time is not spent teaching students. A lot of their time is spent making lesson plans, making materials, grading, doing all of the ancillary subjects around actually sitting with the kids and helping the kids to learn. That is where I think AI should be used. And there was a study the other day, which was by here we go, the Walton Family Foundation and Gallup put together a study where they showed that AI can be used in the classroom. I'm going to put it up on screen. So it's teacher research. Here we go. Teaching for tomorrow, unlocking 6 weeks a year with AI. Basically, they found that teachers could use artificial intelligence to save on the legwork. So they're not necessarily using it directly with the kids. I think that's a different topic and a really interesting one. But what they can do right now is use it for class preparation, use it for materials preparation, use it to basically claim back time that they're generally not paid for, which I find mad. I have teacher friends who will work past their normal hours and they'll work in the evenings, they'll work at the weekend, they'll work on their holidays, preparing for when they have to go and teach. AI can help with that, and it already is. So 60% of K through 12 teachers report using AI tools this school year. So already there's a high uptake. 26%, oh no, 6 weeks is the equivalent time saved per year by teachers who use AI weekly. I think it was 6 hours per week of legwork, grunt work was saved by using artificial intelligence. So I think that's fantastic because by saving that time, they have more energy and they have more time to sit and work with the kids, which really should be what the education system is about. So I think AI is fantastic for that. In terms of children themselves using AI, different question. This is a debate we've had for years about when should kids have access to certain technologies? When should a kid have a smartphone? When should a kid be allowed on the internet? Before it was how much TV can a kid watch per day, etc., etc. So this is always going to be a discussion, and every parent is going to have obviously different boundaries, different limits for the child. Absolutely. I think that my personal view is that AI is probably a more productive, or using an AI is probably a more productive use of time than scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or watching YouTube animations, for example, because those are very passive compared to using an AI. That said, most kids, younger generations, when they use AI, it tends to be for companionship. So having a virtual friend, basically. At the beginning of this live, I talked about the potential risks of that, especially with character AI, which again is the third most used AI on Earth. That's because it's young people using it. It's kids who are using it. There are concerns with that. So that needs to be monitored by the adult. The adults need to know what that means and what that is. And I don't think most parents are equipped with that yet because they are not necessarily using AI in the same way as younger people are. So I think it's important for them to know what character AI is, what it can do, what it can't do, etc., to make sure at least they're appraised of the situation. So I think that used properly, AI for study can be phenomenal because it basically means you have a personal tutor. Previously, having a personal one-to-one tutor was something that only the richest kids could have. It was just not accessible. Having a tutor, having somebody who knows what you know and how to get you to the next steps is phenomenal. And you can now have that with an artificial intelligence. Everyone can have that potentially. There was a study done in Nigeria where they gave kids access to an after-school tutor, an AI tutor. There was also a teacher in the classroom to make sure they actually used the tutor and didn't just chat about Pokemon or video games with the AI. The teacher was there to make sure they used it for learning. Pokemon, I'm showing my age. Not even Fortnite, Roblox. They didn't talk about Roblox. There we go. And they showed that these kids in Nigeria, they learned 2 years of curriculum in 6 months because they had access to a one-to-one tutor who understood where they were and could help them through blocks, etc. So I think used correctly, AI can be incredibly powerful for children if they are using it as a personal tutor. However, It's a powerful tool. It can also be used to cheat. It can write essays for you. We're seeing this even at college level. We're seeing PhDs that have been published that have references to ChatGPT in it. So it's a tool like anything else, and we need to work out correct usages for it. I think that AI, more than any other technology we had, it can make intelligent people, hardworking people, even more productive. But at the same time, it can make people who don't want to do the work, it can make them even more lazy. You can leverage it in either direction to do all the work for you and become lazier and not learn. Or if you use it intelligently, you can use it to leverage that intelligence and do fantastic things with it. And the choice of which way you go is really up to the individual. So it can be used in both directions. So a child needs guidance in how to use it productively rather than how to use it to be lazy and to cheat. And I think that is something that's going to require the adults, the parents, to know more about how AI can be used as well, and to use it themselves in a productive way. Layla, yes. Layla saying Meta's new AI avatars will be similar to character AI. Absolutely. So I covered that at the beginning of the call, specifically talking about the fact that Meta's new AI, sorry, not new AI, their existing AI, their chatbot will now proactively message you. So it will bring you back into conversation, character AI. So it's more of a companion, more of a constant companion, rather than just something that you go to. So it's a slightly scary development because, again, I'm not sure if I trust Meta to handle that sensitively. Alex says, thanks for the answer. Tricky with school age kids using and us adults, teachers learning at the same time. Yeah, exactly. I always think this about smartphones as well, how we'll tell children like, no, you're not allowed a smartphone, or you have to limit your smartphone usage. And then in the same breath, we'll pull out our phones and start scrolling. It's very hard for us to set down guidelines when we don't necessarily have the best behaviors ourselves. So we will scroll on TikTok for hours, but then we'll turn to a kid and say, don't do that. It's bad for you. So the kids see us on our telephones all the time. So they want telephones and they want to do the same thing as us. It's the same thing with AI. We need to have good AI habits ourselves first before we can teach kids what those habits are. Otherwise, we just don't have knowledge of what that looks like. So I agree. It's a learning journey. Holly's saying it's a business opportunity to teach parents how to use AI for kids. Yeah, exactly that. So I think whenever there is uncertainty, whenever there is a big pressing question and people need guidance, then there is always going to be a business opportunity. For that specifically, I would start to produce content. And I can't think of anyone who does this. I know a lot of AI creators, people in the space on TikTok, Instagram, etc. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who is talking about how to use AI safely with kids. So I think I'm probably wrong here, but I think there's a wide open space for somebody to step into that area and start to educate parents on, this is what AI is, this is what it's good for, this is what you need to be worried about, this is what you should help your kids with, etc., etc. I think that would be a really valuable educational resource. I would start personally. I don't have kids, so this is not for me to do. I'm not going to teach other people's kids how to use AI. But if I was a parent and I was worried about these things, I would start to educate myself, and then I would immediately start to also teach and talk about these topics online, build up an audience around that, maybe work with schools as well. I think there's some opportunities there. And basically build up resource packs or write a book or kind of consolidate your learning and advice in one place. And then, yes, that can be monetized as a business for sure, because I'm sure there are a lot of parents out there who have this question, they have this problem. So if you can start providing answers, there's always going to be a business there. You guys go for it. I don't have kids, so I can't do this, but somebody should. If anyone knows of a creator or an influencer who does talk about those topics, drop it in the comments, because that'd be really useful to know. Will says, where do the parents get the knowledge to start? By being curious,